For over 10 years, I couldn't get my productions to sound how I wanted, so I buried myself in online tutorials trying to figure out why, and even having some of the same tools as other producers and mixers I envied, my productions weren't coming even close. I've heard the term referencing get thrown around, and I thought I was referencing the right way myself, but I was totally wrong, and over time developed a referencing system that would help me produce any desired result. I'm excited to announce that you can now use this same system yourself in our new course, The Magical Guide to Referencing. This gives you the exact framework I've used and successfully taught hundreds of students through the years. If you're ready to stop chasing your mixing tail in circles and ready to understand any mix you hear to replicate those same results for yourself, you can find a link to the Magical Guide to Referencing in the description wherever you're listening. See you there, my friends. Hello and welcome to Working in Music Sucks. My name is John Maciel, and for almost 2 decades I've been working in the audio recording industry. I've worked with producers and mixers like Bo Rochelle, Joey Sturgis, and Josh Newell, and countless others on records with bands like Era, Census Fell, and Moose Blood. And along this journey, I've also worked with 2 of the biggest music educational companies where I helped thousands of aspiring engineers achieve their dreams of making music production a fulfilling full-time career. But as great as that sounds, to be honest, the first 10 years of working in music sucked. I started this podcast to talk about what sucks about working in music so others like myself who love music production and want to wake up every morning fulfilled and driven to making records people love can do just that. Working in music sucks, but with what we talk about on this podcast, it doesn't have to any longer. If that sounds like your cup of coffee, then you're in the right place, my friends. Let's get into it. Welcome back, my friends, to another episode. And today's episode, I wanted to talk about something that I've done for the last several years that's really helped me get better and better at mixing, finding my sound, my instincts, trying new techniques under pressure whenever available, whenever I have the time to do it, because it is a very time-costly type of exercise, but the rewards of doing it are huge. And it's a 30 and 30 challenge. And what that means is you will need to have 30 different songs to mix. And if you don't have any or you don't know where to get some, there's a website. If you type in Mixing Secrets Mike Sr. Multitracks or Cambridge University Multitracks, you'll get linked to a site that has a bunch of downloadable sessions. Some are great, some are not so great, but still the principles will still work. You want to find 30 songs. And then you want to take like a week or 2 before you start this challenge to get each song into your DAW, set up your template or your routing template, whatever you have going on, and get a basic balance going, get the panning, and then just leave the track alone and mix prep all 30 songs. Just get them ready to mix. And then day 1, as soon as you're done, take the weekend off or whatever, take a couple of days, start fresh on like a Monday. Every single day for the next 30 days, you're going to mix one of those songs, and you're only going to give yourself 1 to 2 hours to mix. So that means making quick decisions, whatever it is, just, if you want to do automation, if you want to, whatever it is, you have 1 to 2 hours max to mix a song. And there's going to be no time for second guessing. You just literally need to do the best you can. Just get it done. Print the track into a folder, 30 and 30, day 1, mix, whatever. But send it to a folder. Do not listen to this track. Every single day until the 30 songs are done, you are just going to mix it, print it, put it in that folder, and not touch it. Now, after you finish this, what you're going to do is you're going to take the next week off and you're going to go and listen to all 30 songs, and you're going to make notes of things you could do better, things that stick out to you, but you're also going to make notes of things that you like about it that you've done. You're not just it's not going to be all negatives. It has to be good and bad. Maybe you like the way you EQ'd a guitar. Maybe you really liked how you did something on a vocal on this track. You're going to find the things that didn't work and did work. And then you're going to look at your list of pros and cons, and you're going to try to find similarities and things that you need help with, that you need to address. And you're going to put those in a separate list. And then you're going to go, and all the positives, you're going to explore those, right? Like you're starting to find your sound. And then you're going to go back, and now you're going to treat it like you're doing mix revisions. And for the next 30 days, starting at the last track this time,
You're going to work in reverse order, 30 to 1 instead of 1 to 30 like previous. You're going to start addressing all those mix notes, but you're only give yourself 1 to 2 hours again. Print the track, leave it alone, and then at the end, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take notes, good and bad, and you're going to compare your notes with, did you actually fix the issue, or was the issue still there? Did it get worse? Be honest with yourself. You're going to go through all the notes and you're going to really assess and get to know yourself like, oh, so I am not good at EQing a kick drum. Oh, my listening environment is I'm making weird decisions based on my listening environment. Um, I'm actually really, really good at vocal effects. I just need to get better at getting the vocal to sit right. There's gonna be all these little things you discover about yourself. And it's gonna be really eye-opening. And if you have a mix template, you're gonna really know what needs to change in that template, what needs to be updated, things you don't actually use, things that only work like every once in a while. So maybe it's worth having in your template, but then you have it inactive in your template until you maybe need it because it's like, yeah, I can only use this 20 or 30% of the time. You're gonna make notes and really get to know yourself in this process and understand all that's happening because overdoing this over the next couple of months, you're going to learn to trust which instincts you can trust and which ones you kind of need to retrain. And then you're going to know, like, okay, I need to get better at EQing synth tracks or pianos. And now you know what you need to go and study for the next couple of months or practice on, and really hone in on understanding. And it won't just be you blindly just looking at videos and all sorts of things. You'll have a plan of attack to get better at whatever it is that you need to get better at. Maybe you want to utilize multi-band compression better and you're realizing that you're not making the right mistakes. Now you need to spend more time understanding how to listen to compression, how to understand different styles of compression. It could be whatever it is for you based on where you're at and what you figure out about yourself. You could also figure out that like a particular style of mixing that you thought you wanted to be good at isn't your style of mixing. And you need to go find another couple of mixers that kind of speak your mixing language and do things that you would do and then use them as like a virtual mentor. Watch how they mix. Are they on Pure Mix? Are they on Mix with the Masters? Go figure out exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and maybe you discover even more stuff about yourself. You take a good month or 2 months and you know what kind of homework to do on yourself. Guess what? You're going to do another 30 and 30 again. Maybe take out some tracks that you didn't really care for that time, bring in some new ones to mix up, and you do it all over again. And when you don't have artists and clients that you need to work for, you can do this. And you can even do it like 5 or 7 days in a week. It doesn't have to always be 30. You can be like, okay, I'm gonna just work on this or whatever. If you have artists and you weren't 100% thrilled on a mix, guess what? Start a fresh palette. Don't overthink it. There's no pressure to get it done because the artist is gone. You just have the tracks. Do the whole process and really start to figure out what you need to work on. What are things that are going to help make the results that you want to happen in the mix? Just going about mixing without a plan, without trying to figure out yourself, your style in a very kind of like regimen type of way, you're just always going to have a sandbox mix. You're always going to be playing around with the mix, not really knowing, are you good at this? Are you good at that? And that's how a lot of mixers get put in the position of like, I know I want to get better at this, but I don't know how. And I'm often like, well, have you stress test? Like, are you actually bad at it or are you just overthinking it or are you not trusting your instincts? Because as mixing engineers, we doubt ourselves all the time until we get to a certain point, a certain level. We don't have the experience to know that the decisions we're making are good or bad, or that these mixed tricks and techniques that we use are appropriate or right for the song or for us and our style. It's all about experimentation. And this is part of like a controlled experimentation process with low stakes because you're not doing it on someone else's dime. When you're being hired to mix something for someone, you really want to be, you know, courteous and respectful of their time and their money, and that's not really the time to experiment too much. Maybe sure there's like something you could try if it works cool, but you don't want to be spending too much time experimenting when you need to get the project done. You need to get it out the door. When you don't have that stuff and that stress going on, that's when you go and you try and experiment and stress test like, will this trick actually be part of my template that works 9 times out of 10, or is this just like, oh yeah, that's cool to know. If I am ever like in a mix and I need to pull a magic trick out, I'll rely on this one. I'll pull this one out. This is honestly one of the best practices any mixer, or even if you're a songwriter, you're listening to this and you're like, well, I don't mix. I'm a mastering engineer. This works for mastering. You gotta go find, have a friend who mixes, send you like 30 different songs they've mixed, then you master all 30 of those songs. Each day make notes. Maybe you only need like 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it is. If you're a songwriter, give yourself 1 to 3 hours every single day to write a song. And by writing a song, I mean like 1 minute's worth of music, whether it's finished or unfinished. Write whatever you can out in, a controlled amount of time, print it, put it in a track, and go back and listen. Which ideas are worth further exploring? Which aren't? The ones that are worth further exploring. Reset the next 30 days, add more to it. See what more you can do within that hour to 3 hours, whatever give yourself. And then write new songs on the days that aren't days of songs that you keep, or maybe you throw them all out, you start fresh. There's a way to utilize this technique to do anything to get up to a starting point of like, okay, this is me. This is what I like doing. Oh, this is a cool trick that I learned. And you're doing it in a way that actually stress tests. Is it going to work for you? Is it something that, okay, that doesn't work for me? And you throw it out and you move on. You don't have to try to make everything work. But doing it in this controlled way of an exercise is so freaking helpful. And I really, really wish that when I first started mixing, that I had the resources to do this. And then someone gave me a game plan on how to get better. I would just spend so much time playing with sandbox mixes where for a month or 2 months, I'm just playing with one mix or two mixes and never get anything done because I'm practicing all these different techniques, seeing if it makes it better, and then just, going too far down a rabbit hole, not knowing if it actually sounds good or bad, not having any perspective. So this is just really an awesome way to give you the perspective on weaknesses, strengths, what to work on, experimentation, all the fun stuff in a way where you can actually figure out the results of what works and what doesn't work. So, hopefully, learning how to trust your instincts to get better at mixing, all that other stuff doesn't have to suck in figuring out. And you can take this formula and this framework and expand on it, make it your own. And yeah, that's all I got for this episode. Pretty short one, but I'm really hopeful that if you do this exercise, you will see positive results and be patient with it. The first couple of times I did this, I sucked at it, and like I was like, I hate everything. But it's like working out. It's like learning any new skill. As you continue to do it and you are watching your results, you'll start to notice the improvement slowly over time. And a great book on, how to kind of reset your mind, it's called Atomic Habits. And that book really teaches like it's all about doing the reps. It doesn't have to be huge reps. We're not looking for huge results every day, but being consistent every single day and showing up and just improving by 1%, you're going to be much further ahead going this route than most people who just kind of like I said, sandbox mix. They're just kind of playing with everything. When you put times restraints and just restraints in general on something, you will be amazed at the results that you can achieve after you get some reps in under those type of circumstances. So I know working in music sucks. I know people don't give out this type of information to really help us, but I really truly believe that if you give this a go, you do a 5 and 5, 10 and 10, 30 and 30, whatever you decide to do, the framework stays the same. Just how are you, whatever suits you, and figure out what's going to make the biggest difference. What do you need to study? What do you need to prove upon? What are you great at? What should you spend more time on? Is going to make the biggest difference in just your abilities and all your skills. So, with that said, thank you for hanging out with me for this episode. Hopefully, you have fun with the 30 and 30 challenge, and I will see you in the next one, my friends.